2, 1, go.
Yes, it's time to make a toast to 2007 as we bring you a show chock full of movies to praise and mock in our annual end-of-year rewind.
Engage.
As we serve up the creme de la creme and diss the dirge that Hollywood offered up over the last 12 months in making the movie Best of 2007.
Blimey.
Sequels, reimaginings, comic book spin-offs, and TV shows turned blockbuster behemoths.
Dear God, what is this?
We've got them all. From web slingers and wizards to super spies and The Simpsons. What better way to beat the cold than to sit at home with a bucket full of popcorn while we movie experts work you over with our 07 Rewind. On the way, robots rock as Transformers take on the threequel titans.
The CGI is unbelievable.
Matt Damon kicks superheroes into submission.
We settled on this kind of search for identity, finally.
And we'll leave you feeling super bad with the new Kings of Comedy.
At best, they'll relate to it, and at worst, they'll just laugh at our filthy jokes.
But first, to the cash cow that is the comic book genre. Whilst box office bells rang loudest for Spider-Man 3,
Whoa.
trash cashed in with Ghost Rider,
That's right.
and a Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. So it was left to the big screen adaptation of the Frank Miller-penned graphic novel 300 to deliver a super stylized feast of frenzied folklore, which blasted the competition away in spectacular fashion.
It's a real kick-ass, violent, crazy, primal, brutal story. These people are trained to be warriors from a very young age, and really, there was nobody like them.
On these shields, boys!
And they invented so much in terms of battles, fighting as a unit, and as this machine, and that's something that we really climb into in this film.
Earthquake. No, Captain. Battle formations.
This is a movie where you get to ride along with some crazy cats called Spartans. Not that you are one. You know, I think the first shot kind of lets you know that, okay, these guys do it a little differently than we do.
Oh no! The 300 Spartans gave their last breath to defend it!
It was just a fearless nation in terms of they would face up to any enemy, any size.
Each one of them is kind of like a Russell Crowe and Gladiator, every single one. And then you're set up with this incredible story, which is, okay, but now we're sending an army of 1 million, and we only have 300 of you guys.
Steady!
We knew the phalanx. We knew we were going to have that, right? A bunch of shields and guys with spears. Then the next thing we wanted to do was like, okay, how do we then expand it into when they're one-on-one? How do they fight?
There wasn't a lot of pussying around. It was like, you know what? If we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So you were getting in amongst it. When you're rehearsing, you know who's coming. Okay, so John's coming. Then Danny's after that. But when you're suddenly on set, all of these wraparounds, you know, you can't see. This is how much you can see of them. That's it. They all look the same. And when you suddenly see 50 guys running, all looking the same, you're like, you're pumped up, the adrenaline's going, you know, and you're like, what? Like, the stunt guys were so incredible, you know, you're banging them and they're like, where'd he go? You know, they're flying so high. It was intense, but it was awesome.
As 300 blazed a bloody trail before all that crossed its path,
Smash!
a serious case of sequelitis was soon to strike, with the threadbare threequels to Pirates, Shrek and Oceans failing to deliver the thrills and spills.
I was really hoping to avoid that this time.
However, the blockbuster season wasn't a total washout, with The Simpsons shining brighter than ever. But for sheer eye-popping entertainment, Michael Bay's technically jaw-dropping Transformers was driven by sensation, fueled by noise, and introduced us to the charms of Megan Fox.
I like to go fast.
Whilst proving to be the breakout hit. for Mr. Shia LaBeouf, who emerged as this year's go-to guy in Hollywood.
Ah, it's my car!
It's an honor, you know, and it's flattering to hear those things.
Miles, listen, my car, it stole itself, okay? What are you talking about, man? Satan's Camaro in my yard, it's stalking me.
Shia's a genius. He's a phenomenal actor, but he's also a genius comedian.
Ready, and rolling cameras!
Our first day, Michael was telling us to do something, and one of us asked for instructions, and he told us not to ask questions. We were meat puppets.
We would just run all day, just running.
3, 2, 1, action!
I was doing heavy workouts before, but once you get on the set, there's no time. So that just kind of falls out the window during shooting.
Oh God, we're gonna die! We're gonna die!
No, we're not! No, we're gonna die! We're gonna die!
I was having major anxiety attacks, you know, just like something weird happens to you when every day is a helicopter explosion. Dude on fire, building falling. Your mind starts working differently.
And pretty soon this whole building's gonna start getting ripped up. Fact.
We were up on a roof in Los Angeles, and I'm like hanging on the statue, and we're 60 stories high. And I'm freaking out. Mike, I need a harness. You gotta put something on me. I can't be out here like this with a string. This is insane. And he goes, Shia, they do it on Fear Factor. Do they do it on Fear Factor? I say, yeah, they do it on Fear Factor. He's like, all right then, man up. They do it on Fear Factor. Go out there and be a man.
Okay, Shia, you're moving your feet a little bit, not sideways. Ready, and go!
You couldn't have made this movie 2 years ago.
We knew it would be good, but I had no preparation for it, I saw.
The effects in this movie are like nothing anyone has ever seen.
There's no other film that's ever been created that's on this level.
The CGI is unbelievable.
And next up for Shia is Indiana Jones and the Curse of the Crystal Skull, helmed by Steven Spielberg, due out in the summer of 2008. Now, shifting from the behemoths of the year to the gems that were either criminally ignored or just slipped you by. David Fincher's mesmerizing Zodiac, which brought the triple threat of Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., and Mark Ruffalo, delivered a lesson in masterful filmmaking.
Are you sure there's nobody else in the house?
Anton Corbijn's directorial debut saw him focus his lens away from his mainstream chums such as U2 and Depeche Mode to tell the tender and heartfelt tale of Joy Division's Ian Curtis, who was brilliantly played by newcomer Sam Riley.
When I'm up there, singing,
Genius, actually.
they don't understand how much I give.
And Angelina Jolie put in an award-worthy turn in Michael Winterbottom's A Mighty Heart.
I don't think this is the business of a journalist.
Forgive me for correcting you, but it is absolutely the business of a journalist.
But of all the smaller, more independent fare that hit the big screen in 2007, Danny Boyle, the man behind Trainspotting and 28 Days Later, turned his attention to sci-fi and served us the spellbinding Sunshine.
What the hell was that?
Damage to life support systems.
Well, I'm a big believer in continuity, and Alex Garland, who'd written 28 Days Later, wrote this script, and we met in this pub, and I read it. I just thought, what an amazing idea. I couldn't believe that nobody had done this before.
Are you scared?
No. It's terrifying and wonderful, and there's lots of pitfalls, you know, going into genre, because you can copy too much.
Our sun is dying. Mankind faces extinction. Our mission: reignite the sun.
It was a wonderful opportunity to get a different mix of actors together, and we thought, let's get actors from America and Asia, because they'll be the two economies that can pay for something like this. But also we wanted actors from different parts of the world as well, and we were lucky enough to get Cliff and Rose from New Zealand and Australia as well, and Kill from Ireland, and you know, it's a great melting pot.
Captain!
The film is more NASA than Star Wars, you know? It is based in realism.
Action!
You know, these are the things that I think Danny wants to make sure this really comes to life and has a real authentic feel. And it's a huge ship. I mean, the ship is massive, and it was all built. So, you know, you'd step on set and you're in that spaceship.
Action!
And whenever they had something that they had to react to, like Mercury, when they were there's a scene where they see Mercury as a tiny little disc in front of the sun. Although that was all going to be created later, we mocked up a version for them so that they could act as something real. Because I always think that the problem with actors with green screen is they either go one way or the other. They either do nothing, and they tend to look bored out of their minds, or they do too much. They're too eager to please the director, and they're going, oh, what an interesting looking dragon. And you know, you just think, ugh. So I always wanted them to actually have something real so they could actually play the reality of how would I react to that now.
Kaneda, what did you see?
And that brings part one of the show to an end. But stay tuned, as on the way after the break, Harry Potter suffers some teenage angst.
For me, that was both very encouraging and daunting, because obviously it's a great thing to hear. It's exciting to hear that you're really going to have to be forced to new depths as an actor and new levels.
Superbad unleashes McLovin into the pop lexicon.
He kind of gets on Seth's nerves a lot, and he's kind of like an annoying guy. I am McLovin.
And Jason Bourne keeps it real.
We had to figure out ways to kind of do it guerrilla style, where we'd go hide the camera in one of the stores, and I'd go, Paul would draw something on a napkin, he'd show me where he wanted me to go.
We have to move.
Welcome back to Making the Movie Best of 2007. Coming up, the new kings of comedy cool deliver the 1-2 punch of Knocked Up and Superbad.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And Jason Bourne blows the competition away as Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass deliver a pile-driving, character-driven thriller. But first, as sequels such as those to the Die Hard and Rush Hour franchises sucked,
Let's get the hell out of here.
the return of the world's most famous boy wizard salvaged the summer season. As the seventh and final Potter novel was unleashed, movie number 5 made the Potter franchise the highest ever grossing in cinematic history, whilst delivering one long-awaited moment, Harry's first kiss.
As all first kisses should be, it's completely mal-coordinated. He doesn't really know what he's saying or doing, but it's just very sweet, and I think it's quite endearing, really. A few people actually got a bit emotional for that, over that scene, because they did sort of feel they were watching a bit of a moment in the series. I personally didn't. I was a bit nervous, to be honest, but I settled into it pretty fast and started thoroughly enjoying myself.
But not all was lovey-dovey as the pupils returned for another year at Hogwarts, where they experienced a heavy dose of dark twists and teenage traumas.
It's quite a scary time at Hogwarts because Voldemort comes back and no one really trusts Harry, and it's all a bit edgy.
The Ministry of Magic is getting involved in Hogwarts in this one because Cornelius Fudge, the man with probably the best name in the whole of the series, is getting increasingly paranoid that Dumbledore, in a bid for power, has told everybody that Voldemort's coming back to scare them into getting Fudge out of the office and putting Dumbledore into it.
The evidence that the Dark Lord has returned is incontrovertible.
So they send in Dolores Umbridge, who is the most vile piece of work.
She's actually there to stop kids learning magic, because the Ministry and Umbridge are convinced if the kids learn magic, they're gonna take on the Ministry, which is complete nonsense.
From now on, you will be following a carefully structured, Ministry-approved course.
Dolores Umbridge is supposed to be teaching us Defense Against the Dark Arts, but because we feel we're learning nothing, Hermione and Ron basically take it upon themselves to launch Harry into this new role as a teacher.
Expecto Patronus! A full-bodied Patronus is the most difficult to produce.
He's a very understated hero, Harry, and so when he suddenly talks about being able to conjure a Patronus, they're all a bit like, whoa, what is this? Man, this is incredible.
Fantastic, Ginny!
When I first met David in the first meeting we had, he was very keen to put forward the idea that this film was going to be about Harry's state of mind, albeit a very unhinged state of mind at times in the film.
In the past, it was often the Dark Lord's pleasure to invade the minds of his victims, creating visions designed to torture them into madness.
For me, that was both very encouraging and daunting, because obviously it's a great thing to hear. It's exciting to hear that you're really going to have to be forced to new depths as an actor and new levels.
And for your next wizard fix, the David Yates-helmed Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is set for cinemas in November 2008. For laughs and humour in 2007, comedy was somewhat of a mixed bag. Will Ferrell and John Heder skated their way to success in Blades of Glory, Ben Stiller reteamed with the Farrelly brothers to remix the Heartbreak Kid.
Stop!
And Adam Sandler disappointed yet again, dumping I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry on us. So, for bringing the genre back to the ordinary people who party, swear and talk about sex, we salute Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg and Judd Apatow, who delivered Knocked Up and then trumped that with Superbad, the funniest high school comedy in years.
Well, it's about two guys who spend way too much time with each other and can't get laid and are obsessed with getting alcohol, so pretty autobiographical in that regard.
You know when you hear girls saying like, I was so gone last night, I shouldn't have slept with that guy. We could be that mistake.
We knew that not many high school movies were written by guys who were in high school, and that was kind of our hook. I mean, something would happen to us over the weekend at a party and we would write it into the script on Monday.
I just hate teen movies. I don't find them like interesting or funny. I don't never really find them realistic to what it's like to be in high school. And what this one had and what I thought I could add to it was at least attempt to make it authentic and honest about what it's really like to be young and going through these things. It's Carrie Hutchins.
Yeah, I heard she got breast reduction surgery.
What? It's like slapping God across the face.
She had back problems, man.
Seth, he speaks his mind. He can be vulgar at times, a lot of the time, and he's kind of loud. But what I loved about him was that the character is unapologetic for who he is.
Evan is just, I guess, a normal high school guy. He's kind of, I guess, at the stage of his life, he's going through this weird thing where him and his friend are going through a separation anxiety, you know, and going to different schools and are really upset about it and nervous, and they could never admit that to each other.
You gonna miss each other?
No, miss each other? No, thank you. I know I don't miss each other.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep every night.
Me too.
When I'm out partying.
So they disguise it by talking about girls and alcohol.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get our drinks on, we're gonna party and get crunk and rock out. Fogle, he's like a nerdy-looking kid, but he doesn't act like a nerd. He thinks he's cooler than he actually is. Chica, yeah. He kind of gets on Seth's nerves a lot, and he's kind of like an annoying guy.
Wait, you changed your name to McLovin?
We did make an emotional story that we hope is relatable, and, you know, we really tried to infuse a lot of honest feelings we had in high school, and we want people to relate to that.
I love you.
I love you.
Why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
Boop. If you don't, that's fine. There's just a lot of really filthy, funny, shocking jokes in there.
You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours.
Well, Jules, the funny thing about my back is that it's located on my...
At best, they'll relate to it, and at worst, they'll just laugh at our filthy jokes.
Now, to conclude the show, we turn to Hollywood's staple box office banker and the thrills and spills of the action movie. With Clive Owen throwing his hat in the ring with the slick and silly shoot 'em up.
Who are you?
I'm a British nanny, and I'm dangerous.
And Quentin Tarantino failing in his attempt at a high-octane actioner with Death Proof.
That's too bad.
Thankfully, back with a bang to save the day for all action fans was Jason Bourne.
Pamela Landy.
I hear you're still looking for me.
With Matt Damon at his best, as the CIA-trained amnesiac assassin, and director Paul Greengrass at the top of his game.
We're definitely getting a bit of adrenaline going now.
The Bourne Ultimatum was by far the best action thriller of the year, and the most accomplished piece of filmmaking in 2007.
Someone made me what I am. And I'm gonna find him.
One of the things I think that audiences love about the Bourne movies is if it says Tangier, we're in Tangier. It's not shot in the back lot somewhere. And everything about what happens in Tangier is dictated by the landscape. And that gives the action a whole kind of reality, I think.
Action!
We went to Waterloo Station. Well, there's no way you can lock down Waterloo Station. It's impossible. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people go through it every hour, and there's 1,000 entrances and exits. It's impossible.
It's Waterloo. I mean, it's busy. We had to figure out ways to kind of do it guerrilla style, where we'd go hide the camera in one of the stores, and Paul would draw something on a napkin, he'd show me where he wanted me to go, and then someone with a walkie-talkie would go, and we'd all go meet, and they'd be rolling, they'd be turning over already.
We have to move.
Bourne is an outlaw, isn't he? He's a modern outlaw.
He has our entire playbook. Names, dates, ghost sites, every dirty little secret we have.
He's on the run from a corrupt system. He's us against them, and he wants answers, he wants the truth, and that's just completely captivating.
Who was I?
They gave you so many identities. Cheever, Lee, Kane, Bourne. You were one of the first ones in the program.
We settled on this kind of search for identity, finally. Meeting his maker is what we called it, going back to the beginning and meeting the guy who created him.
Perhaps we can arrange a meet.
Where are you now?
I'm sitting in my office.
I doubt that. If you were in your office right now, we'd be having this conversation face to face.
It crackles, it connects. You go, there he is. He's us against them. I don't want him to get caught. Go, Jason, and you're with him.
He's headed east in the Port Authority.
All agents have shoot-on-sight authorization.
He's not superhuman, and what makes him an action hero is not that he has fancy cars and big weapons. It's actually that he's resourceful and really quick. And he can use household objects in his fights. And also still has a conscience. Like, he may be a trained hitman, but he regrets that, and he feels bad about that. He's like an action hero, but he's also an everyman.
Cut!